Hello.
Okay, so we've done my testimony.
Yeah.
So now we want to let people know, or we want you to let people know what's happened in your life, what changes have happened in your life.
Yeah.
We'll come at it from an angle of where people have a bit more of an understanding of your life prior to coming to faith. Whether that's little examples here and there about your upbringing or as a child going into as an adult, and then like what you are now since coming to faith. So did you have any exposure to Christianity as a child? Did you have any, and just obviously just bearing in mind that, you know, we know firsthand the way the Lord works through us, that some details that seem very small and minor might be humongous and major to other people, which is, you know, is amazing. God's great. So like, you know.
So when I was younger, as in I'd say probably 10 and me, my younger sister and my younger brother, we'd go to like Sunday school. We'd take ourselves there.
Yeah.
So we'd walk up there and we'd walk back. We've not been brought up around faith. Neither of my parents have, you know.
So you went. So you done some time at like Sunday schools, but
Yeah.
never really from a religious point of view. More like a.
I remember holding a Bible and being very proud. I remember that. But did I know? Because home life wasn't anti-Bible, but it was. We just didn't talk about anything like that. So we'd get back home, and that was it. Then it was like what we did at church was completely separate from what we did at home.
So disconnected from.
So it was completely disconnected. And so it didn't really go anywhere. And then we got to the age where it just kind of fizzled out, which is a shame. But but I do remember feeling really proud holding that Bible at the time. And now as well, when I look back at certain things that have happened in my life, I realise now that was God's work. Just certain things that at the time I weren't aware of, obviously.
So there's a few bits of scripture that stand out. Ecclesiastes 3:11. He has planted eternity in the human heart. So looking back at your childhood, do you see that God was already putting that kind of longing in your heart?
Yeah.
So like you had something definitively missing inside you that, you know, you found fulfillment in since coming to faith.
Yeah, I'd say so. I think even though it was a tiny part of my life going to church as a kid, teeny part, I think it was the beginning of God reaching out and making himself known.
So you would say that would probably lead on to my next point was going to be, or when do you think God began drawing you closer to him? So it goes hand in hand with what you just said there. So as you progressed through, was there any particular people in your life that God used to keep you close or draw you closer and bring you near?
No, is the answer to that. No.
How about when you moved up, say, to high school kind of level?
Okay, so in high school, I had a best friend who was very into. They were a Christian family, brought up around, you know, the Bible, and she was my best friend, and I was also friends with her siblings as well. So I spent a lot of time at their house, and they would take me to church as well, and weekends away with the church. And so I was involved a little bit with that through that family.
Yeah.
But apart from that,
So you would say that
No.
in that situation, it was like God was working through them to keep you
if I
close.
look at it now, yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
And would you offer in resistance to what God was trying to do then,
No,
in a way, without even realizing, or just not really embracing what God was trying to do?
probably that one.
Yeah.
Probably not really, and not understanding enough about it.
So you can see moments where God was working, but you just didn't really realize what was going on at the time.
Yeah. I think you could put it like that.
Okay. So that's you from being a child, having an experience at Sunday school, taking yourself there with your brother and sister, moving into high school where you had a friend that approached you to come to Bible classes, Bible studies at Sunday schools, or
Yeah.
Bible church trips.
Yeah, there was a lot going on,
So
different
in
things.
just in them two things there, it's like there's already a behaviour displayed where God was keeping you close,
Yeah.
without you necessarily realising what was happening.
More understanding, yeah.
Yeah. So obviously, I know, you've gone through a lot in your life where you could have possibly looked at God from an angry perspective, and after that, you've gone through a lot of things in life, as a lot of people do. But when would you say was the turning point that brought you from the situation of not realizing God was trying to keep you close and keep you there,
Yeah.
to actually thinking, the Lord loves me, the Lord wants me,
Yeah.
like, and feeling that amazing feeling that we've all felt.
That undescribable
Yeah.
feeling. So you're asking me when it is that I came to faith.
Yeah.
Right.
So when did you come to submit your life to Jesus?
I, growing up, didn't really think about whether I believed or didn't believe. It was just kind of like, this is what I know certain people believe in. I don't know what I believe in, but I'm just going to go along with it anyway.
Yeah.
And so that led up into my adult life as well. So young adulthood, as in, 20s, late 20s. God found me, I didn't find God.
Yeah.
And it is literally just the case of, it's like it was just slapped into my face one day.
Yeah.
I can't describe it. I went to bed one day not knowing a lot about anything, not knowing whether I even believe in God, Jesus, and woke up a completely different person. It's like something happened during that night, and I remember waking up during this night and feeling an overwhelming sense of peace and love in the room. Like, the room, I remember, was light. It was airy, and my heart felt full. It's so hard to explain.
I know this as being the Holy Spirit coming upon you.
Yeah.
And obviously, what did this lead you to do? So in what way did you respond? Like, in the coming days afterwards, I think, just to reiterate, from my perspective, it's a bit confusing, it's a bit scary. You got all these different range of emotions. Not all the emotions are the same for everybody, but you will have undergone some changes emotionally. So what can you say to people? What was it that you were feeling Was it, I know you said you felt peace in your heart, was it just continual peace and happiness, or did you have any other emotions that you had to overcome? Or in what way did you respond in the, you know, the weeks afterwards or the days afterwards?
I feel like you don't have to put any effort into responding. I think it's a natural progress. And so, like I said, I felt very light. I felt like a huge weight had been lifted off my shoulders. What that weight was, I didn't even know I had a weight on my shoulders, but I did, because I felt it lift. And life all of a sudden had a purpose. I didn't necessarily, I think I would just find myself wondering, going through life, happy in my family, in my marriage, but that aside, thinking, well, what's the purpose here?
Yeah.
What am I going to get at the end of this?
Yeah.
And when you've been touched by the Holy Spirit, it's like you have, your questions have been answered.
Yeah. But you've got that newfound purpose, you understand now.
Yeah, you just know in your heart.
I can relate to that. I think a lot of people relate to that as well, in the way of you have something inherently missing inside you that really you can't really think. You're happy and content and over the moon with things that you've got, but you're just missing a huge part of yourself. But you've ticked off everything that you could possibly need to tick off on the checklist, except for God. But not knowing that that's what you needed all along. And there's a lot of people out there that their checklist only needs God on it. You know, that applies to absolutely everybody actually. But you go searching for these things down different rabbit holes and venturing in different directions, when would you say that that's all people need to do is reach out and develop a personal relationship with the God who loves them? And that's where peace lies. That's where we know, that's where salvation lies, through belief in Jesus Christ. But would you say for the inner peace for yourself, the answer lies with God?
I would 100% say that.
Yeah.
However, it's difficult because, like I said, God came to me. I didn't come to God, He came to me. And so, prior to this, how long would I have gone not knowing God?
Does that excite you in the as in, because now you fully understand that there is a purpose for God coming to you, and now the exciting the exciting thing, let's just rephrase what I'm saying rather than put words in your mouth, is the exciting thing you not necessarily knowing what that is, but now you're fully surrendered in a way, ready to explore whatever that is.
Ready to be basically emptied and filled up again with the Holy Spirit, so that God can use me in whichever way He needs to use me. Being ready to be used as well and walk that Christian life. But we should probably acknowledge the fact that, unbeknown to me, you and the childhood friend I was speaking about had been praying for me to come to faith. And I don't know how long that went on. I know that my friend, it had been a few years, and she'd constantly on and off prayed. So I was very much into star signs and having readings, and so my friend straight away picked up on that and thought, I need to pray for my friend. She's going down a route that is not good.
It isn't very biblical.
It isn't good, so I need to pray for this friend. So unbeknown to me, I had her praying and you praying. Do I think that probably helped God reach out to me? Yeah, in a way.
Well, prayers do get answered. So it's like, again, one of the things that 2 Corinthians 5:17, if anyone is in Christ, he is a new creation. So that's where you've described there how you felt, and you genuinely felt like something had changed inside you.
Yeah.
So after coming to Christ, what changed first? Was it like your outlook on life, how you viewed your relationships, your priorities? You know, what, oh, I wouldn't say it had to be radical changes in your life, because you weren't really a person that, you know, was doing craziness and living a seriously ungodly life as such.
I'd settled. We'd settled down quite a lot by this
But
point.
it's more the how does your daily thought process change?
I'd say in terms of the marriage, it helps a lot. Helps a lot because you learn to put your partner's, the husband, wife, feelings above your own when you might not have. I didn't necessarily do that before. You want to be a better person, and so you're constantly thinking about how you can be nicer and how you can be that better person, be the best Christian that you can be. And if you've got two people in a marriage that are Christians, kind of gels you together, I think.
Because you suppose you got that, you're living from the Bible.
From
so
the Bible.
You're coming at life from a biblical standpoint. And in today's society, that can be difficult if you're social media led and scrolling through social media, or you're watching the television, the news, or I suppose it can be a lot more difficult from a woman's perspective. If I don't know whether it's pressures put on a woman in today's society or anything like that, more so than having your lives line up together and doing things for the betterment of the complete family unit. You know what I mean? Like,
I mean, important to say as well that you came to faith before I did.
Yeah.
And so there was a bit of clashing, weren't there? We know firsthand that, you know, you would approach me with certain things to do with Christianity and God and the Bible, and I wouldn't have a clue. I wouldn't connect with you, and it was causing a bit of a divide.
Well, unbeknown to me, obviously, you're trying to be as supportive as possible.
Yeah, of course. I'm trying.
So for anybody
understand.
out there that, just being completely honest, for anybody out there that might listen to this, that's in a position where one or the other has come to faith and, you know, one or the other hasn't.
Yeah.
Like, being completely honest, what kind of things were going through your head? Like, were you confiding in anybody? Were you having doubts about your marriage? What thoughts were going through your head before you come into faith yourself?
Yeah, so was I having doubts? I don't know whether I'd say it was as deep as doubts at that point, but I was definitely trying to think of ways I could meet you halfway without being feeling like I was bombarded with all this information regarding a God that I didn't necessarily believe in. I'm not saying I didn't, but I don't know whether I did either. I was kind of in the middle, hadn't given it a second thought. Did I confide in people? A few. And it was more like just a conversation, like, oh, he's really into this now and I don't know how to respond. I don't know what to do, because the more he gets into it, the further away I'm getting. And it's like, how do you navigate through a marriage when you've got the two people who are on total different ends of the spectrum? So it was difficult. Luckily for us, it wasn't too long before what happened to me happened to me.
Yeah.
But I can imagine how hard it is for people that are in a relationship and they're trying to make it work with God and be the best Christian they can be, but then the person that they love with all their heart is not there yet. It's very difficult to navigate, and I'm thankful that we did not have to do that for very long.
I'll just say as well, I think it's incredibly difficult with the way of the world today as well, because there's things that, you know, that we do a lot of, you know, work ourselves now, and certain things are said in the Bible, and it's the old cliche, the only way you're going to get them out of the Bible is if you take a pair of scissors to it.
Yeah.
So I think we can really see how that would be incredibly difficult for somebody that's not in any way there with the faith, or not even looking to get there with the faith, to somebody that really is.
Yeah,
So,
I don't honestly think that if I'd not come to faith, I don't see how we would have worked.
Yeah.
Because now I now know how you were feeling.
Yeah.
And I know now that I could never live a life without God in it.
Yeah.
And so, looking back, it just wouldn't have worked.
Yeah. Because God then becomes number one in your life.
One.
Yeah. So yeah, what you're saying is incredibly true and incredibly honest as well. I think we should probably do a video bit down the line, but just to say, if anybody is out there that has gone through this, or is going through this, or maybe is, you know, can relate in any way, then should probably reach out and start a dialogue, because I can see how situations like this could get incredibly tough.
Yeah.
You know, in marriages and whatnot.
Very heartbreaking.
So, what has surprised you most about following Jesus?
What has surprised me the most? Okay, my ability to forgive.
Okay, that's interesting.
Because without going into detail, everybody has things going on in their life that prior to coming to Christ, prior to coming to God, they're like, you know, I will never get over this. There's no chance I can get over this. There's no chance I can forget about that. When God has tinted your heart, so when God has done his thing, whatever it is he does, and he's in your heart and lives in your heart, you are a changed person. You no longer are the person you used to be. That person's gone. So you're a new person. And so your perspectives are brand new. And so I found that when it came to forgiveness, which is very important, by the way, because the Bible mentions that we need to be able to forgive others.
Well, we have no right to not forgive people.
Yeah.
If, you know, Jesus has gone to the cross and died for all of our sins.
Absolutely.
And all that,
What right do we have?
And we can be forgiven. What
Yeah.
right do we have to hold any kind of resentment or not forgive anybody else?
And we could go a bit deeper with that. Something that helped me with the forgiveness as well is I genuinely believe every soul that God has created was perfect. Every single one, because God doesn't make mistakes. What happens when they get onto the earth is different. And so I'm trying to say, if I've got bitterness towards somebody's done something to upset me, I now can sit, rationalise and think, I don't think that was truly down to them. I think there's been
More of a social construct.
An attack from the enemy,
Yeah.
who's got hold of them and has tainted the way they are,
Mm-hmm.
and now they are, you know, that's the reason they're behaving the way they are.
Yeah.
I think I blame the enemy rather than them.
Yeah.
I think the soul is innocent and pure because we are all God's children.
I think is just adding to what you're saying there, I totally agree. Adding to what you're saying there is that whether it's somebody you've had a disagreement with, whether it's somebody you've got an ongoing, long-standing feud with, whether it's somebody that you could have even used the word hate about before, whether it's people you've never met before in your life, whether it's people that from a completely different culture, race, creed, background, nationality, religion, whatever it is, we want every single person to come to God.
Everyone.
We'll stand here with open arms. That's
Everyone.
That's what I firmly believe now that I'm here to do. Is to spread the word of God and get as many people as possible. So with nothing alluding to what you're saying, that does definitely help with the forgiveness side of things,
course,
because you don't want anybody staying in that that nasty realm that you've just alluded to there.
It doesn't, like a huge weight is lifted off your shoulders. That's how I felt when I sat there and thought about forgiveness and all the people that I'd maybe have to forgive for hurting. When you sit and think about it and think, well, actually, this is probably the reason that happened, and this, you know, and the fact that they're all God's children, you only want the best for them. You only want the best for them. You want everybody to end up in heaven.
Yeah.
And, you know, where they came from, back home. And I just think the whole process with that helps when it comes to forgiveness.
So if you could say one thing to your old self, what would it be?
Oh, that's difficult. If I could say one. In terms of what?
Just the person that you are now, if you could say one thing, even if it was just a bit of advice, what has happened, what has been a benefit to the way that God has changed your life? What would you say? What other than the obvious, like get yourself to church, like what would be one thing that you would say to your old self?
Yeah, it's really difficult because everything in the past, my old self has led up to how I feel now. So I don't know whether I'd necessarily do anything different because I'm at the stage that I'm at now, and I just believe that it was meant to be that way. Good. So I'm not necessarily thinking I would go back and change anything.
That's good, very good. So, alluding to what I was saying before, now we've begun to do many things which will hopefully lead people to faith, which obviously people aren't necessarily completely aware of yet, well, not a lot of people anyway. So even in this now, our hope is that people see this and it resonates with them, and then they come to faith through a simple conversation as this. So if I was to ask you a question which may help people or may help a viewer about Christianity, what misconception about Christianity did you have before becoming a Christian?
Like I said, I didn't know a lot about Christianity, and so I didn't have many opinions on it. I didn't think too much on it. Typically, you know, if anyone was to speak to me or if I was to hear snippets of conversation at church regarding God or Christ or Christianity, my thought process would be Bible bashers, like boring, like very immature response.
Mm-hmm.
And it's because I was ignorant to it all. I didn't have enough understanding to make any judgments other than, well, this sounds really boring and I don't want to be boring.
Mm-hmm.
Why are people wasting their time on praying to someone they don't even know whether it's real or not?
Yeah.
And that was kind of the way I felt
So
about
you
it.
would say that you've been a person that has needed an actual divine intervention to believe that, wholeheartedly, to believe 100%.
I think I must have been.
Yeah.
Because had I have not been, I'd have come to faith when you started talking about
Yeah.
me.
I think that's important to say out loud as well, and be honest about, because that there eliminates shame. Yeah, that there shows full surrender, or or more surrender, as in I'm not hiding anything. This is how I felt. This is just how it was for me. Like many people might think, oh, that's shameful to say that out loud. But the truth is the truth.
Yeah.
And
I am where I am now.
we speak the truth in love, and that's how we do. Okay, so what is one thing you've discovered about Christianity or Jesus that has surprised you? So, for example, for me, was the Christian fraternity. So I've never been in an environment where people have cared so deeply about other people.
Yeah.
And I was like, whoa. Like, at first I thought, this has got to be an act. Like, this has just got to be put on. There's no way people care so deeply about me, or there's no way he cares so deeply about him, or whoever. Them just passing time away, surely. And then the realization hit me, like, no, everybody really loves everybody, and everybody literally wants the best for absolutely everybody. So what was your discovery that surprised you?
Obviously I agree with that as well.
Yeah.
You do want the best for everybody, and I always say you can't walk into a church and never feel sad or lonely, because it's like you're surrounded by family.
Yeah.
Instantly.
Yeah.
And everybody does want the best for you, and when you're talking to these people, you know that what they're saying is genuine and they love you. I'd say the other thing is probably, if I ever thought that I could be a Christian and not have a connection with God and Jesus, I couldn't be further from the truth. So when you are a Christian, you're trying to be the best person you can be. You cannot do it without having a personal relationship with the Lord.
Yeah.
And so every day of your life revolves around the Lord.
Yeah.
In some way.
So you're saying that there is, when you become a Christian, you have this personal relationship with God, or you have this personal relationship with Christ that you can't live without.
You can't live without it, and like I think I'm just trying to say as well. You cannot be a Christian. You can't be half in and half out.
Okay.
You have to give your all. I didn't necessarily think that I would have to have a relationship with God and Jesus to be a Christian.
Yeah.
I didn't.
Before coming to
faith. But since coming to faith, obviously now know how important it is to have that relationship with God.
Yeah.
in
So you would
order.
say to guard against having. I don't want to use strong terms as in plastic Christians or anything, or plastic, beliefs and things like that. But you would say just guard against not being fully submissive.
Yeah.
That's
Definitely,
interesting.
yeah.
That's good.
And I, prior coming to faith, wouldn't have thought that would have been needed.
Like,
And
okay.
so that's
Okay, so-
definitely the other thing.
How would you describe God's grace in your own words? So, whether that's something that's happened for you, whether that's something that you've seen happen to somebody else, and the emotions that it's give you, how would you describe God's grace? Even if it was just one word you have to throw out there.
I was going to say I could think of a million things to say for that. I'm going to answer it like I'm thankful.
Okay.
I'm thankful that I have been given the opportunity to live the life that I live now. But I'm thankful that now I can guide my children and try my best to lead them to Christ.
When I was reading the question, the answer that came into my head was from a selfish perspective was gratitude as well. So that's kind of what you're alluding to there. I am grateful for God's grace.
And I actually feel it's a bit surreal because I kind of still think, why me? What made you reach out to me?
Yeah.
I'm just, a dot in the world. What made you reach out to me and transform my life the way you have? Because now it's a domino effect, and that means that hopefully my children will, the younger ones especially, grow up with Christ in their life, and hopefully grow into strong Christians. And I think they've got every chance of doing that now because they're being brought up with Him very much present in their life. And I think as parents, Christian parents, that's probably all that we can do, guide them and lead them.
I think a lot of it as well there is I fully trust God. So like I don't really necessarily think that it's got to be works of ours where we hammer it on continuing day after day after day after day after day. I just think that God's found me lost, God's found you lost, and He's brought us in from the cold, if you want to look at it like that. So His grace and mercy is incredible, it's unbelievable. I'm just adding even more words to the question that I asked you before. So I've got full, complete trust and complete faith is the word that I'm looking for in God and what He will do, and the miraculous events that happen because of Him.
I agree. I just do think that as parents we've got a responsibility to feed them the information that they can handle being so little. They've got a right to know about God and about Jesus.
So taking it right back. So with your upbringing, obviously you said you went to church at Sunday school, but you took yourself there, but you had no biblical influence in the home.
No.
So is that what you're trying to allude to and trying to say now, that you would give your children the awareness of God and the biblical influence in the home, something you didn't have, and hopefully then that helps them on their journey to faith?
I mean, there's an element of that, of course, but now I know how important it is to have that relationship the Lord.
Yeah.
And I think the earlier our little ones know about God,
There's a God
Jesus,
that loves them.
there's a God that loves them,
Mm-hmm.
the better it will be for them. I'm not saying bombard them, they're only little, but they at least deserve to know about him, so as they grow they can come to know him in their own unique way.
Okay, that's good. So for people out there that are maybe in a bit of a limbo situation at the moment, that don't know whether they're coming or going, or feeling a little bit, there's somewhere on that journey that I mean, with you it's probably a little bit different because you were more of a light switch salvation, as we say, right? Whereas I was more of a dimmer switch salvation, and by that I mean you was like press the light room was light and that was it.
Yeah.
Me, I was like a dimmer switch that went round and round and round and round and round, where something was happening, and I was on this journey for a while, and I realised something was happening. It just took me a long time to get to the destination.
I think I would describe that as you finding God.
Yeah, I would say
finding me.
I would to a degree, but I'd say God definitely came for me, but it took me a while to realise that it was coming for me. So I get what you're saying, and I agree with what you're saying. But it took me a while to get to meet him. Yeah, like that was how it felt for me. But with regards to how it's been for you, obviously many people may go through what you go through. So with me it would have been like, right, it's over a period of a year or 2 years where I'll start reading the odd Bible passage, or I'll start doing the odd prayer, whereas you woke up one morning and now you know, a fully fledged Christian. That is now gone straight into Bible study, that has gone straight into prayer, that has gone straight into being part of a ministry. What advice would you give to somebody that is going to wake up tomorrow morning and have gone through the exact same spiritual awakening that you've gone through? I
would just say to go with it, don't resist. I would say, because that's what naturally happens. Something happens inside you that you're not in control of. There's a feeling inside you that lives inside you now, the Holy Spirit, you cannot control. And so not only can you fight it, but you don't want to fight it either. You want the feeling to stay, and so don't second guess it, is what I'm trying to say. Go with it and watch the transformation, because it's the best feeling that anyone could ever have. And I'm so thankful that I came to faith the way I did, and jumped in wholeheartedly the way that I did, because it's changed my life.
What would you say to somebody that feels like they're too far gone? Say maybe from a mother's perspective, because you've also got a lot of, when you learn about the Bible and when you learn about, you know, what God's plan is for you as a woman, what God's plan is for you as a child of God. So you may look at that and interpret it, well, I haven't lived a very biblical existence. Feel like God's called me now. I feel like I've been blessed with the Spirit, but like I've got children. I'm not married. Like you know, I've got all these things going on in my head now. I've picked the Bible up, or I've read this, or I've heard this, but like, surely God can't be calling me because I've not live this biblical lifestyle, or hang on, I read that, but that definitely doesn't apply to me. So what would you say to somebody that feels that way?
Okay, so firstly, God can change anyone. It's a very, you know, we watch a podcast and the pastor that we watch is often saying that God can change anyone. God does not judge, and you only have to read the Bible to know that nobody is too far gone for God's forgiveness, for his love. Nobody's too far gone. You can imagine the worst thing, doing the worst thing possible, and God will still love you. Still love you. There's nothing any human can do.
Jesus went to the cross, didn't he? And I think that's what people need to understand, is that there in the act Jesus done for the whole of humanity there. It's when you come to faith, it don't matter what you've done.
Jesus,
once you submitted your life,
you
submitted your life, God then sees the cross. He doesn't see what you've done.
He sees his child.
So so you're saying to people then that don't let these negative emotions you've got stand in the way of you fulfilling this relationship that you can go ahead and have.
Don't let the enemy take you down.
Which is exactly what's happening.
Yeah.
Okay, so have you got any part of the Bible that has really resonated with you since you've been doing your Bible studies? Have you got any, or maybe it was something that you've heard at church, or maybe something that you've heard from online? Is there anything that helped you along the way that you were a bit unsure of? Maybe it was something that you had to research yourself because you were a bit unsure of, or is there just any advice in general you would offer to somebody that maybe is feeling unsure?
I would say, you mean like doubting? If there's anyone with any doubt?
Yeah, anyone with any doubt, or it might have just been something that somebody said that really resonated with you. For example, I've started doing things what we would call off the cuff, because I fully believe that if something seems very strange to do at a particular time, but I'm thinking about doing it and it's biblical, I'll do it. Why? Because I feel like I'm being led to do it. So when I've listened to sermons about surrendering to God, that's really helped me in the way of, okay, so on where before I might have turned around and said to myself, well, that's a bit stupid to do that at like 10, 11 o'clock at night. But now I understand, in God ain't looking at his wristwatch when he wants you to do something. He just wants you to do it. There's a reason why you're having that put on your heart at that particular time. So fully surrendering to God. I've heard that. I heard that in a preach at church, and I've heard it online, and then I came across reading it, and it all happened in the same kind of moment, within the same kind of week. So it was a very, prevalent message in my life at the time. Yeah,
I would definitely say, if there's any doubts about anything, pray. Pray.
That's a good bit of advice, yeah.
Reach out to the Lord.
Yeah.
Ask him for help.
Yeah.
Call upon him. Pray. For example, I was having a hard time believing that my previous sins had been forgiven.
Yeah, this is a good story, isn't it?
And it was a few weeks went by, and I would every day pray the same thing, and it would be, God, how do I know that my sins have been forgiven? How do I know that I'm good enough to to share heaven with you? How do I know that that I should be given another chance? And it was like that every single day for a few weeks. And then the one day, I think it was into the third week of praying this same prayer every day, we were at church, and it was through the church, through somebody else at church, that God answered my questions. So to cut a long story short,
somebody stood up in
church, and they said that they just, God had spoken to them.
They felt compelled
to stop the service and let whoever know that needed to hear it, that she basically said there's someone in the room that has been doubting their self and doesn't know whether God's forgiven them in their sins.
Mm-hmm.
And he wants you to know that he absolutely has forgiven, and he loves you so much.
So your advice would be?
My advice
pray.
Would be to pray and
Yeah.
just ask, reach out, because there's nothing more powerful than a prayer.
Totally agree. So if someone is watching feels that God's drawing them in today,
Mm-hmm.
that would be your advice, would be to
Yeah.
pray.
If they were stuck,
Yeah.
I would definitely say. And I know that might be hard as well, because you might be in the middle of, well, I don't know, what do I pray? Is that what I do? I might feel a little bit silly. You need to.
Mm-hmm.
I can't emphasize enough how important prayer is and how good it is.
Okay. And then in closing, is there anything else you would add to that may be useful to anybody? Is there anything that you would add that you think could encourage anybody?
Into faith.
Yeah, just in their journey.
Into faith. It's so difficult, because I do honestly believe that there's, how do I explain this? I'm going to simplify it. Is there anything that I would do to encourage people into faith?
Or I think what you're trying to say is what's going to happen is going to happen.
I was going to say it's difficult to encourage someone into faith if they're not already in faith.
Yeah. So I think So what I'm getting from you is what you're saying is that the journey is going to be the journey. But what I'm trying to say is that while they're on the journey, is there anything you would give them? Any words of encouragement you would give them? Any advice, or is there a way maybe they could, if there's someone's going through a particular period, just reach out to you or something where you could offer any kind of advice, or would you advise going to the church, getting involved in the church setting?
Definitely going to the church. Advice that you can give yourself though is, I know that sometimes when you've come to faith, it can be very frustrating when God does not. You don't hear his voice straight away.
Mm-hmm.
You don't get any, you feel like you're not getting anything, you're praying, and you don't feel like he's coming back to you.
Mm-hmm.
You don't feel like he's hearing you. You're thinking, well, I'm praying, I'm hearing that God's speaking to all these other people, but he hasn't spoken to me yet. Don't get disheartened, because God hears everybody, and your time will come. There's a purpose for everyone. It doesn't necessarily mean that if you haven't had that instant connection, that it's not going to come.
Okay.
And it, like from experience, it can be very disheartening when you're thinking, I'm asking, I'm reaching out, I'm praying. Please, show me through a vision, and you're not getting anything back. But it will come. And it will come when the time is right to come. And so don't don't get disheartened.
Don't get disheartened when you stick in there.
Stick in there, keep praying, and when you need God, not when you want Him, when you need Him, He will be there.
Okay, well, all I can say to you is thank you for sharing in such an honest way, because I think that's the most important thing, is to be as honest as you possibly can, and within that leads to a lot of vulnerability. So, you know, hopefully everything that you've said there, it's worth its weight in gold to somebody.
I hope so. I hope so. Hopefully, even if it's just one, we've got this saying, haven't we?
Yeah, just one more.
Just one more person. One more person. Always one more person. And so, if this resonates with just one more person, it's a job done.
Yeah.
A job well done.
Yeah.
And so, yeah. But like you said on your last one, we are reachable.
Yeah.
If anybody does feel like they're stuck in a little rut, or they've got some questions that they need answering, or they're just unsure on the fence, reach out. Because we yeah, and I was there once. And I'm sure you were there once when you were trying to navigate your way through faith.
Yeah. We've got a couple of different perspectives to be able to come at it from.
Yeah.
And being in a marriage as well. So we've got a lot to be able to, a lot of experience to call on, But thank you anyway.
Thank you.